Kata for the sound of the bell. Mind calm, body at ease, breathing quiet, sentiment benevolent. Dharma friends sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing. We practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here is the after sound of the bell. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma ring. Om Amoka Vairocana Mahamudra Manipadma Javala Pravataya
Please stand for our chanting and recitation of the three refuges. We will first chant in Sino-Korean, which is in keeping with our tradition. Our founder came from the mountain monasteries of South Korea. And then we'll do English recitation. So for the chanting, which is new to some of us, throw your sound in. There's a kind of sound cut. Simon, some say, Shemon, Shalem, some Jew, Shimon, some say, Shemon, Shalem, some Jew, Simon, some say, Shemon, Shalem, some Jew, These refuges are common to all Buddhist lineages and sects around the world. So wherever you would travel, you would hear them chanted or recited in whatever language was there. So please repeat after me the English version. I go for refuge to the Buddha.
I go for refuge to the Buddha
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment
And realize the great way.
and realize the great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
I go for refuge to the Dharma
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings.
I will penetrate the teachings
And uncover oceans of wisdom.
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha.
I go for refuge to the Sangha
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
And transform this world into Buddha land unimpeded.
And transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
light another candle. So, of our gratitude, respect, and commitment. What's the date today?
Today is September 8th.
On this 8th day of September 2024, we acknowledge that this land where our temple buildings stand has been the home of Native peoples, the Potawatomi, the Ottawa, and the Ojibwe, the Council of the Three Fires tribes, and also of Black Americans. We know that our original temple building and that this neighborhood used to be a historically Black neighborhood during times of racial segregation and oppression. For our own awakening and for the awakening of all life, may the benevolent energies of our meditation, chanting, and full presence here at this service this morning extend to all beings on this planet and throughout time and space. May there be deepening of our interbeing. May peace prevail and wars cease. Let us make 3 deep vows in our commitment to uphold this duty. We together with all beings. Please return now to your places for another period of meditation. For 5 minutes. Please take care of your sitting posture. Possible sitting on the triangular base with your 2 knees and your buttock. Take 3 deep breaths so that you feel in your nostrils the coolness of this morning air a little. And on your exhalation, you release the stale air. And bring your inner eye to your body, inside, imperceptibly moving your hip bones a little forward. Feeling how that affects the rest of the body. Lifting your sternum. Imperceptibly, but still, notice always with each of these how it affects the whole body. Releasing your shoulders to gravity. And very imperceptibly bringing your shoulder blades together. Also, energetically move your head toward the wall behind you. Just a little. We're trying to align. And gently take your chin in to follow that movement backwards. Again, feel the sense of air in your nostril Move it. Eyes at a place about 3 or 4 feet in front of you in an unfocused way on the ground with perfect floor. Hum very lightly, touching the top, the back of the top teeth. Awareness of your hand, however they are, touching each other, your body and someone. And go to your meditation practice. follow along with the simple mindfulness, touching, embodiment practices. Just pay attention to what you're doing, how your senses and the whole body comes to play. Just pulling your ears and bringing the knuckles underneath your nostrils. Inhaling as the body opens and exhale as it cools. And again, coming up and placing your fingers behind you. And just noticing how your senses work and your body works with them. You don't have to tell yourself to do things, you just respond. That's how it is with sense messages. Inhaling up and changing. Just stretch your legs if you need to and turn a little bit in this direction. bright sun. Getting the microphone clipped on. And a little breeze, cool, coming through. Feels like, oh, did you put an extra layer of something on this morning? Well, welcome in from the 10 directions. And in your seeking, may you find something that you're looking for. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Haju, for some of you who might be new. And I'm just the old priest here. And I'm also part of a group of people in this greater organization, which is called the Buddhist Society for Compassionate Wisdom. We're the senior teachers. And we have a meeting, and we have been having a meeting for about, I would say, since the beginning of COVID, right until now, every Monday morning, almost without exception, from 8:30 to 10 a.m. So you know what Mo and I are doing at that time. And our meetings range in many directions, but just we're all with the idea of how this organization can continue. So we have many fish to fry, so to speak. And one of the topics that we have been discussing the last couple of Mondays is, what's the theme? What should be our emphasis with our whole organization, from people who just walk in off the street for the first time, to members of our temple, to those who are ordained in our temple, those who are students and preparing to be ordained, and even for us senior teachers. And we have a Dharma master. His name is Doan Sunam, and he lives at our Mexico temple. And through some reflecting last meeting, he came up with the focus on something called, and you have to help me because I always forget, sound formation. Not sound like la 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 la, boop boop, but sound in the case of stable and deep formation for us as spiritual beings. And how can we become more sound in times that need us to be more sound? Sound development was deepening our spiritual practice, a commitment to higher levels of being. So this is the theme. We will be having some membership meetings through the fall, and in groups of people discuss this theme, discuss practice, discuss membership, and discuss something that's beautifully blossomed in this Sangha, this group of people over the last couple of years. It's called Together Action. It's becoming sort of contagious. That when we do things together, it feels different. We feel a sense of belonging, even if it's just picking beans. It's an interesting phenomenon. So deepening and together action. How's it sound? Okay? Yeah. Well, we hope you're going to be with us through this. It's not just for ourselves. There's a saying that you might have heard before. Well, it's a question first. What is Buddhism? And the answer, Buddhism is the study of the self. Well then, what is the study of the self? The study of the self is to forget the self and to be awakened by all the myriad things. One more time. What is Buddhism?
The study of self.
Go ahead. What is the study of the self?
To forget yourself and to be
Awakened by all the myriad things. So we have this great capacity right here and now, always. And our Dharma Master Doan, he in particular emphasizes meditation. He's kind of the most meditating person I know. I mean, at retreats, he's always up earlier and staying up later and meditate. And at home, he just does a lot of meditation. And so he pushes. I don't know. He offers meditation, so we should do more of it. So I decided before we have some special presentations for our Sangha, to take a little section from this book by Bhikkhu Bodhi called In the Buddhist Words. And it's a section called Mastering the Mind. And there's a subsection, The Mind is the Key. Ready? Yeah. Okay. Number 1, I do not perceive even one other thing, O monks, this is the Buddha speaking, that is so unwieldy as an undeveloped mind. An undeveloped mind is truly unwieldy. Number 2, I do not perceive even one other thing, O monks, that is so wieldy as a developed mind. A developed mind is truly wieldy. Number 3, I do not perceive even one other thing, O monks, that leads to such great harm as an undeveloped mind. An undeveloped mind leads to great harm. Number 4, I do not perceive even one thing, O monks, that leads to such great benefit as a developed mind. A developed mind leads to great benefit. 2 more. I do not perceive even one other thing, O monks, that when undeveloped and uncultivated entails such great suffering as the mind. The mind, when undeveloped and uncultivated, entails great suffering. And finally, these are actually picked from this one scripture. I do not perceive even one thing, O monks, that when developed and cultivated entails such great happiness as the mind. The mind, when developed and cultivated, entails great happiness. So meditation isn't the only way to cultivate the mind. But let me just offer a few words. Meditation, for the sake of bettering, improving your condition or circumstances, is helpful, and it's fine. But this utilitarian Zen meditation should not be equated with doing Zen meditation without setting any preconditions or objectives. Without setting any preconditions or objectives. There is a distinction between the utilitarian meditation, practicing meditation unconditionally with an attitude of letting go of all thoughts of how meditation could benefit me. Rather, it has to do with seeing one's life from the broadest perspective and then functioning in a way that enables perspective to manifest most fully through one's day-to-day activities. So, meditation is helpful, for sure. I've heard people say that, they sleep better. All kinds of things. So it's very helpful. But it also goes beyond that to this, rather it has to do with seeing one's life from the broadest perspective and then functioning in a way that enables that perspective to manifest most fully through one's day-to-day activities. Day-to-day activities, it's not somewhere else. Glory is not somewhere else. One's day-to-day activities. So, it is my pleasure now, for this section of our time together, to introduce you to two members of the Sangha who have been training their minds in our special program, in this case in our seminary program and in our Dharma Guardian program. And one of the things, then when we last met, which was yesterday, we asked all of our training students and our teachers, what would it be that they would do for sound development or formation of themselves this year? What would it be that you would do if you wanted to be in the spirit of the broadest perspective and then function in a way that enables perspective to manifest most fully through your daily life? What would you do? So I'm going to introduce these two folks, and I'm going to say a little bit about their training, and then they're going to talk. And please be ready to share what you chose, Magma, and what you chose, Iljon, for your focus in deepening yourself spiritually. And then we will go to you. Who would like to share? Okay. So, first of all, Magma, could you please come up before your fellow Sangha members? Magma has been training, Magma, Mike Ambiya, has been changing. He has been participating in a Maitreya Buddhist seminary for 2 years, and before that, he also trained as a Dharma Guardian. And he was supposed to receive his third year Kasa. This signifies 2 years, when we were having our meetings in Chicago. He had to go and had to leave because his mother was dying. He needed to be with her and his family. So we're then lucky to be here as he receives his third year Kasa. And please take off your second year Kasa and carefully put it on the altar. And put your hands on the floor. And holding the Kasa toward your forehead. Go up. And then turn toward the Buddha. And could you please Repeat aloud, Magnok, the kasa for accepting, the verse for accepting the kasa. Yeah. Very loud so everyone can hear. 3 times. Please bring your hands into. This is a special time when one of our Sangha members is making a continued commitment to continue his training.
Wondrous is this robe of liberation, a jewel beyond form and emptiness. Wearing it, I will unfold the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. Wondrous is this robe
A
of
little
liberation.
louder each time.
Wondrous is this robe of liberation, a jewel beyond form and emptiness. Wearing it, I will unfold the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. Wondrous is this robe of liberation, a jewel beyond form and emptiness. Wearing it, I will unfold the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings.
And then give it to me. I think this is one that may have been made by our Sangha member, also in the 3rd year, Mo Samsung. Sit here and give a little.
Oh.
Kind of bossy.
Dear brothers and sisters and teachers, good morning.
Good morning.
When I started in the Dharma Guardian program in 2019, there were a couple of things on my mind. One is that I wanted to learn about Zen from Haji Sunim while she was still teaching. And I wanted to learn about the Dharma as well and practice with Malam and Hayun. And there were a lot of stressful things going on at work and in my personal life. And I knew that I had this monkey mind and I wanted to learn how to manage it. And I did learn about Zen from Haji Sunim and Hayun and Malam. And I guess what I didn't expect was the wonderful group of students that I studied with, you know, how much I would learn from them, how much we would learn from each other. It was a group of maybe about 10 training students in the Dharma Guardian and Dharma student programs, and Dharma workers as well. And we attended practice and meetings at the temple 1 weekend per month. We stayed overnight Friday into Saturday. We studied the scriptures and we studied books about Zen, and we shared what we learned with each other. We memorized chants in a different language, and originally I was very intimidated by trying to memorize the entire Great Compassion Dharani. But once I learned to think of it as sound practice, it became a way to massage my airway and practice concentration. And the resonance felt very good. It was like another type of meditation. And I had trouble memorizing, you know, these big chants. So I remember I would and I still do this with things that I'm memorizing. I put a recording on and I just listen to it over and over. And that helps, bit by bit.
And you chant in the shower too, don't you?
And I chant in the shower. This is true. I've talked about that at our meetings. So when I finally learned the Great Compassion Dharani, I was so surprised. I'm like, wow, I did that, and that was impossible. So what else is possible? How long did it take me? It took me several months, almost a year, to learn the Great Compassion Dharani, and it was bit by bit. Yeah, good question. And each of us kept a daily journal, including practice, our practice for the day, conditions for happiness and conditions for feeling troubled. And I was surprised to discover that many of the things that I thought would bring me happiness, like going on vacation somewhere, sometimes it was happy and sometimes it was less enjoyable than some of the simple things that were free. Like during the pandemic, I learned how to grind coffee beans. I got a little portable coffee grinder, and instead of making instant coffee, I would grind my own beans, and I got a pour over, and I learned how to do that each morning. And enjoying a coffee on my back patio, like that was consistently something that brought joy. So what have I gained from going through these training programs and continuing to go through as a Dharma student? I still have a long way to go. Now when and I still have the same stressors, I still have things that stress me out. And I notice when I'm getting into monkey mind that I'm a little less likely to get carried away in my own thoughts. And I can remember to just come back to my breath when I remember to do it, just this, just here, just now. I'm just walking down the hall now. I'm not focusing on what I'm going to do when I get there, but right now, I'm just walking down the hall. There's a version of the three refuges that I learned when I first came here 21 years ago, and it's still my favorite version of the three refuges. And it goes like this. I go for refuge to the Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Dharma, truth manifesting everywhere, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, deep friendship and interconnection of all beings, which must be cultivated to be known fully. So there's nothing like a group setting to inspire us and help us along the path. When I would come and hear Haju or Malum or Hayun give a Dharma talk, I would often find there was a sentence that I really liked that really inspired me, and I would write it down because I didn't want to forget it. And in coming to these meetings with the other Dharma students, it was like rapid fire. All of these, I would have over half a dozen things written down in my notebook after our discussions. So I encourage each of you to practice cultivation in a group setting in whatever way that works for you. That might be volunteering for together action and picking beans in the garden, like Haji said. It might be signing up for the introductory meditation course and getting a little more formal training in meditation and other Zen practices as well. It might be, staying after for together action after the Sunday service. And so I wish you continued cultivation in your practice. Thank you.
And what is your intention for your...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's what I said yesterday. My intention in sound formation is to find a balance between the temple and the outside world. So before training, I was very much in the outside world, and I would come to the temple maybe once a month, and sometimes more often than that. But being a greeter helped me come at least once a month. And since 2019 and since learning more, I've been much more immersed in the temple. And in fact, I'm living here for a few months right now. Won't be living here in the long term, but I want to find a balance between the temple and the outside world. I still will have a job. I love my job. I will have a relationship, but I will also find ways to volunteer and contribute to the life of the temple, maybe helping out with the introductory meditation course, or helping to mentor other students, being a greeter, peace camp, whatever ways makes sense. So thank you.
Just go there. It's called the corner of John Mike Smith. Sweet name.
I can put this back on you so that we can.
Oh, I think it should be on. So, Iljan Michael Smith has been coming to the temple for how many years?
Over 20.
Over 20. He has been a school teacher in special education and has been a farmer. And he's now retired and still a farmer, often bringing produce to the temple, including some for everyone who might like some tomatoes today. He had also been, and we may speak about this, working with our refuge recovery, the Buddhist form of Alcoholics Anonymous, for the people interested in coming to this group held in our library. And so he's completed the Dharma Guardian program. Iljan Michael Smith has successfully completed the Dharma Guardian program at the Zen Buddhist Temple in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in the spirit of the 6 right livelihood guidelines. Number 1, to consume mindfully. Number 2, to pause, breathe, listen. 3, to practice gratitude. 4, to cultivate compassion and loving kindness. 5, to discover wisdom. 6, to accept constant change. Dharma Guardians bring peace and happiness to those in need and embody the Buddhist tradition of wisdom, compassion, and enlightenment. Dharma Guardians are eligible to assist with temple administration and programs, represent the local temple to the wider community, or to pursue Buddhist chaplaincy or hospice work. In Iljan's case, he has continuing his training, so he's now enrolled in the Dharma Worker program, and he has proceeded to this point with the same people that Magamak spoke of, and he wishes to continue his training. So, it is my pleasure right now, Iljan, to present you with this Dharma Guardian certificate, and to congratulate you as one of our Zen Buddhist Temple Ann Arbor Dharma Guardians and special Bodhisattva people. There also is a pin, which I will give to you with this, and I still have to sign it.
I'd like to hold on to it.
So could you please offer some words to your Sangha fellow members?
Well, I will admit that I was taken somewhat by surprise that I was going to get this morning. I heard rumors of it yesterday. So unlike Magamuk, I don't really have anything prepared, but I did decide when I found out this was happening today, which was this morning. Actually confirmed. I heard rumors yesterday. Thank you, Magamuk. So there was actually 4 questions posed yesterday. The first question was, what is fresh? And that was our spontaneous poem. The second and the third questions were posed by Kusa, who is one of our teachers, and I'll get to those. So as I said, I've been coming to the temple for better than 20 years now. I was very serious about it in the beginning, and over time I became a rather casual Buddhist. I had my home practice and I would come. That's where it stayed, sitting, that's where it stayed. And events happened and I decided it was time to take my precepts. And as people who have taken the precepts or continue their studies in any way know that you are told to do certain things. Precepts, it's 3,000 prostrations. Why? That was my question, why? And I found the answer for me. And I never shared my answers to the questions because I think they might be different for everyone. But for me, I found my answer. Then I continued into the Dharma Guardian, and then it was memorization, particularly the Great Compassion Dharani, which like Magamuk took me nearly a year to learn, and I still stumble sometimes. And again, the question became, why? And I figured out the answer about 6 months in. So I've come to accept that whenever one of the people, as I call them, one of the senior people in grade, tell me to do something, I may not necessarily agree, but over time I will find answers. So the questions that Kuso asked was, what is a vow and what is a precept? And every single one of us gave a slightly different answer. There were similarities, but there were slight differences with them all. And I'm attempting to read right now the Heart Sutra, which is a very short sutra. It's one that I have to memorize. But this book deals with just the Heart Sutra. And one of the things I've learned already was that he based his translation on 2 Sanskrit and 2 Chinese versions, which are not exactly the same, slightly different. So one of the things that I have learned in Buddhism is that different people have different opinions and different ways of looking at things, because even the masters can't always seem to agree, and when things get translated, things change. So Magamuk mentioned the 3 refuges. But the last line that I like that we say at our meetings is, may I find these 3 jewels within. And for me, the Buddha nature is within me. Despite all of the memorization that I'm doing now, and the prostrations and the reading, everything I need to know is right in here. But what I've discovered that we don't seem to spend a lot of time on, from my opinion, being in recovery Dharma, I have to always say, this is my opinion, that I've discovered for me that Mara also lives within me. And for those not familiar with Mara, I guess the simplest way to say it is it's the Buddhist version of the devil. So all the good that I possess is within me, and yet all the evil that I possess is within me. And one of the things that I've come to realize in my training is that Buddhism gives me a way to better deal with Mara when Mara comes up in me, and she does. I always refer to Mara as a she. I don't know why. I guess because Mara sounds like a girl's name to me. So Mara's always been female to me. It's nothing against females. It's just what my mind works. And I know that my studies need to continue for a variety of reasons. And the best example, and all this is just based on notes to myself that I have to write in my journal. I keep 2 journals. One is mine. One is the one I share with my teacher. Because there are sometimes some things I don't really want my teachers to know about. I'll be honest. But it just happened to me recently. Mara came up in a really great way. And I realized I have to work on myself right now with humility and ego. And Mara has given me those issues to deal with, but the Buddha has given me ways to work on dealing with those issues. So much like Magama, I do suggest that you don't spend 20 years being a casual Buddhist like I was. I sometimes kid Haji that she would come up every spring or early winter. Mike, precepts coming up. Precepts are coming up. Yeah. Well, that's when I'm planting and everything. I just don't have time. I don't have time. And Haji stopped asking. And that was fine by me. I didn't mind that. But when I realized this is the time for me to take the precepts, I went right to Haji and I said, I need to take the precepts. And then as soon as I was done with the precepts, I said, I need to continue my studies. And I interviewed with Haji and Mom over the phone while I was in the fields to go into the Dharma Guardian program. And now, yes, I've continued my training this fall. And I don't know when my training will end. But I encourage all of you to take your practice, whatever your practice is, and make it a little bit deeper than what it currently is. And the last thing I'll say is, for my meditation interview yesterday, I don't remember the exact question that Haji asked me, but I said, I find myself once again deepening my practice and expanding on things like prostrations, like memorization, like reading. And it may sound like it makes absolutely no sense right now. And I understand that, because there's things in me that still don't make sense. But give it a try, and you might find that at some point it makes sense to you in your own way. And it enriches not only your practice, but as a consequence of enriching your practice, it enriches your life.
Hey, could you just say the one thing, very briefly? I think you can just say it in one word. You said it to us yesterday in one word, that you're trying to deepen this particular year.
My practice.
Well, I think you said simplicity.
Simplicity for me, simplicity, that's correct. And Haji asked me what I meant by simplicity. And I will just say this very quickly. I have a lot of Amish friends who live what we would consider a very simple, almost primitive life. And yet my Amish friends are some of the happiest people I've ever met. Simplicity.
So our time is really up for today. So I'd like you not to forget to think about what it would be for you to be deepening this year as a Richard Lee. So please stand now. You don't need to lose your cushions except for the people in the rows beside the carpet because we're having a yoga class starting on Tuesday and we'll have to have all the so could you explain for them before we do about
So the mats and cushions that touch the carpet remain where they are. The mats and cushions on the outside need to take a stack neatly in the corner over there, mats on the floor, cushions on the shelf, and the ones on the side stacked on the stage. Other than that, I don't know.
oh yeah, announcements. Stand where we use it.
One thing that Mike just reminded me, but I'll just put it out there first. We have a bunch of nice, ripe, organic tomatoes free for the taking. It's right outside the door. Please help yourself. Part of Together Action. We've got a few courses coming up. One is going to be yoga, which you heard. It's on Tuesday evenings, 6:30 here in this room. And then the other is basically, meditation classes coming up. We have also an overnight beginners and retreat on the 13th, so that's this week, right?
Right, and that is a meditation class.
Yeah.
It's the overnight version of the meditation class.
Yeah, and then the other class begins on, well, it already begins, so September 5th.
Right, there's another one, another 5 week in October.
In October. Okay. And there's a new group that's getting together. You may have met Shijong or Cliff Boo. He's living here now. He's teaching a course called about the Abhidharma, which is kind of the Buddhist psychology. And that's on Saturday mornings at 10, October 12th. So,
Starting.
yeah, it's an ongoing course. And you'll hear more about that later. And we also have membership meetings. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll be establishing membership meetings within a week or two so that we can begin several meetings over the next few months. Where members will be meeting with our various teachers and we'll be discussing what we're talking about today, deepening how that is for each person. As well as membership, because it's interesting, a lot of people just sign up online to be members and very nicely send donations to support the temple. We don't know who they are. We just know the name. It may be one of those people. So we're going to try to gather all of our members so that we can meet with them. It's kind of like a renaissance for this one.
Well, and thank you everyone for being here and joining in group activities. And also we have donations if you'd like. There's not only a bowl, fish bowl, which we've had, but we're starting to use Square to accept them. And I'll be up there. And the news about the tea is that I got about that much that actually worked. And then I can't figure out how to make any more hot water. So we might be sort of passing on the tea, but is there Together Action?
I think we're not that good.
Yeah.
We can look at
Later.
Sorry. We'll start again next week.
The Together Action is putting away the cushions.
There we go. Thank you. Let's do our 3 bows then. Thank you.